But I do want to get to golf because we don't really talk too much golf on the show. I will be honest. I would say a casual golf fan. I am a fan where I watch all the majors. I will watch some playoff golf, but it's always a little tough because the playoff golf is always during football season in September and October, so it's a little tougher for me to get into it. But for the most part, for the summer, I'm in. I love golf. I love the majors. I'll watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But outside of that, I'll watch some big-time tournaments, but I'm not locked in every week. I'm a big baseball fan, so I watch a lot of Mets games. So, I split up my time, but for the most part, again, casual golf fan, love watching the majors. Other than that, a little harder to get into some of the smaller tournaments that go on throughout the summer. But now, obviously, as we are in, if you aren't aware, if you're under a rock for the last 4 months, a global pandemic, sports has been obviously shut down. It's been on hold. And a few sports have been able to come back recently with some success. One of those is golf. And now, with the options limited, which is really only golf and NASCAR, and a little bit of MLS soccer that's returned here, at least on U.S. soil, our options are severely limited. So now, I feel like myself, along with a lot of other casual golf fans, have been watching more golf than ever. And this was the case this weekend. The Workday Charity Open. If you haven't heard of it, no problem. It was created just a few weeks ago. So it's with the John Deere Classic. That John Deere Classic was postponed because of the coronavirus. There's a gap in the schedule. PG wants to have tournaments now every week to capture that audience that is thirsting for sports, that wants to watch some sort of live event that they don't know the outcome of. So they created the Workday Charity Open, put it together, and had it over this weekend. And unfortunately, like we've seen in the past, like golf, always like baseball, always subject to the weather forecast. Fortunately, it was being played in Ohio, had a little rain on Sunday. Okay, move the tee times up. So now, as we know, as you're used to, you have later in the afternoon, the best players, the best golfers that are in contention to win, always tee off late in the afternoon. So really you have the back end, the full afternoon to watch the real big players going for the title. But obviously now, because of the rain, they moved the tee times up. So now, all of a sudden, 9 a.m., you're having the best players tee off. Fine. Okay. A little bit early. Get a little heads up. Watch a little golf in the morning and early afternoon, and you can go with from your day from there. One issue, though. The tee times was moved up because of the rain, but the main TV coverage never followed it. They didn't adjust their schedule. To the point where now, anyone who wanted to watch the exciting finish to this tournament was forced to stream it on CBSSports.com. Nowhere to be found on television. And I'm curious, how can this happen? How can CBS mess this up? Golf Channel, no problem doing it. So Golf Channel, through their television, they're allowed to broadcast the 2 hours prior to the main TV coverage. So CBS on a normal day, right, if there was no rain, if the tee times were normal, CBS was broadcasting from 3 to 6 on Sunday. And Golf Channel was allowed to broadcast from 1 to 3. Right, they do the 2 hours. Okay, get a lot of, maybe the first few holes from some of the big players. You had Colin Morikawa. You had Justin Thomas. Those two, were fighting for the end. So you can see some early holes from them. And then you flip over to the main network, CBS, and watch it and finish it up from there. Golf Channel, no problem switching up their coverage. So instead of going from 1 to 3, they followed the rain delay. They moved it up. So now all of a sudden, 9 to 11 a.m., you can watch live on Golf Channel. And theoretically, at 11 a.m., you could switch over to CBS and watch the conclusion. But CBS never switched over. So instead, as Justin Thomas, as Colin Morikawa, as Victor Hovland are all going back and forth in an epic final round, unless you knew it was CBSSports.com, it was nowhere to be found. So I don't know how this could happen. This isn't, again, I've talked about being a casual fan. I understand the Workday Charity Open is not exactly a tournament that gets a lot of casual fans into it. But because there's nothing else going on, more and more fans are watching more and more golf. The ratings have only increased since golf returned last month. So it's not like this is a tournament, it's a throwaway tournament, no one really cares anyway. Unless you're a diehard golf fan, no one's going to notice that this happened. This is a big deal. CBS missed a major opportunity to get some ratings to cater to the golf fan and continue to grow the sport. Because guess what CBS had on? Because I was very curious. I put it on most of the day when I was at work just to see what they decided to prioritize schedule-wise over a live golf tournament. With Justin Thomas is a pretty big name. Colin Morikawa, who's young, but he's up and coming and playing really well. So instead of having a great finish and playoff holes, mind you, CBS decided to air what essentially, I couldn't find the name of it, but essentially was Dog Olympics. I mean, I'm watching dogs jump into a pool and they're measuring it like a broad jump at the NFL Combine. I'm watching dogs basically run in and out of cones. So CBS decided to broadcast what essentially was a scouting combine for dogs, which is obviously pre-recorded because there was a lot of fans there, which that's a whole other question of what are you doing with your Saturday? And we decided it's a good idea to go to a scouting combine to watch dogs run in and out of cones as fast as possible, jump into a pool to see how far they can jump. A lot of questions about that. But anyway, CBS decided to air that. And then once that was done, they decided to air a previous episode of some bull riding. So scouting combine for dogs and bull riding got the bump and got the edge over a live golf tournament. And instead, CBS decided that 3 to 6, they're broadcasting golf no matter what. So even though the tournament ended before 3, they're going to tape delay basically and air the tournament, the final round of the tournament on tape delay from 3 to 6 like they were originally scheduled to before the weather got in the way. And to be honest, like this took a lot of the enjoyment, a lot of the excitement away from the finish. Social media was buzzing. I'd never seen more tweets and more social media interaction about a lesser tournament than I did yesterday. Half of it because it was a great, exciting finish. Half of it was because you couldn't find it. In 2020, I still don't understand how a tape delay could be thought of as a viable option. As we know, in 1980, for the Olympics, when the U.S. upset Russia, that game was broadcast on tape delay. And you could do that in 1980 because there's no social media. There's no updates to your phone. There's no smartphone. So unless you knew somebody that was physically in Lake Placid who called you up and let you know the results, it was pretty easy to shield yourself knowing that the game was played hours earlier and watch that tape delay without knowing the outcome. In today's day and age, it's literally impossible. You can't open up your phone and either not get an alert, not open up social media, and not see any tweets about it. You have to literally shut off every single device. Shut off your television, shut off your phone, shut off your computer, and until 3 o'clock, turn it on and not turn on your phone, not turn on your computer, or not change the channel until 6 o'clock until you know what happened. Tape delay is the worst option. Might as well not even air it, honestly. I don't know who would sit and wait till 3 o'clock to watch a tape delay version. I don't know many people that would, knowing the outcome or watching it live on CBSSports.com, would then all of a sudden flip to CBS at 3 and rewatch it again. CBS missed an incredible opportunity to grow the game. So like I said, ever since they returned, average fans are watching more and more than ever. The ratings have gone up more and more than ever, and we haven't even had a major tournament yet. They should be doing everything possible to continue to capitalize on the hunger for watching live sports. Continue to grow the game so that way once majors do come back, once other sports do return, you'll still have more golf fans. You still expose more fans to say, you know what? Yeah, there's a baseball game on, but you know what? I've been watching this guy, Kyle Morikawa, last week. He's really great. He's a contention. I'm going to watch some golf today. Golf and baseball, it blows my mind how they are so bad at marketing and are in the same boat. That they think by restricting access to their product, by MLB continuing to implement blackout restrictions in local markets, by making it harder to watch your game, harder to access the action that's going on, that they somehow think that's going to grow the game. I don't get it. And not to mention, this is not the first time this happened. This happened just a few weeks ago where they could have learned from that mistake and make sure that if this happens again, we have a plan in place to get ready to broadcast as soon as the live event happens. So if the tournament starts at 9 a.m., you're ready by 11 or 12 to broadcast the conclusion. You're going to move up your schedule. You're going to shuffle things around to ensure that the live product comes first, not a scouting combine for dogs or not bull riding. Round 3 of the Travelers Championship a few weeks ago, their third round on Saturday, same exact thing happened. Rain pushed up the tee times, and CBS decided to air a tape delay from 3 to 6 on Saturday. It caught me by surprise. Never this. I tune in. I didn't realize there was rain in the forecast. I turned on CBS at 3 o'clock, and they said, previously recorded from earlier in the day. So I go, I look up, I see the results. I say, okay, these players are up this high. This player shot really well. And I'm going to put something else on. I'll tune in tomorrow, see the final round. So I don't get the mindset or the motivation to continue to not change your programming, to continue to not advertise the sport that you're paying a lot of money to broadcast. And I'm still mind blown that in 2020, with basically it being impossible to not find out the outcome of a tournament, of a game, that tape delay is still a viable option in 2020. So I'm curious, if you're a casual golf fan like myself, would you have watched it if it was on TV? If you were scrolling through the channels, you happen to stumble on CBS, and you see some golf on that's live, would you watch? Would you have watched the golf tournament yesterday if it was on TV? And are you into golf tournaments that aren't majors? Because I'm curious now. I really want to know how much audience was missed by CBS not airing it live. I went to CBSSports.com and I streamed it. But maybe if you weren't aware that there was a rain delay, maybe if you weren't aware of where to stream it, you missed out.